What's going on, guys? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. In today's episode, we're at the hardware store and we're trying to find grow lights. We're trying to find the best grow light at the hardware store that money can buy. Let's go. All right, so we're in the most obvious starting section of any hardware store, and that's the light bulb section. The first thing you're gonna look at is compact fluorescent or LED. If you have compact fluorescence, you're gonna go with low cost. LEDs are gonna be higher cost, but more energy efficient. And LEDs tend to have a longer life expectancy than compact fluorescents do. Compact fluorescents also have a tendency to kind of be notorious to break, and they do have some gases inside the bulb that light up, but very inexpensive. This bulb right here, $11. It's 100 watts, so it's uses only 23 watts, but it basically is a 100 watt equivalent. And it has, right here, 1,600 lumens in a single bulb. Again, lumens is how much energy or how much light it gives off. So if we go with a higher lumen bulb, you're actually gonna have more energy for the plants to grow. Now, one downside with this light, though it's very inexpensive and it's gonna grow plants totally fine, is you're gonna look at the Kelvin. You wanna make sure that the Kelvin is gonna be at least 5,000 Kelvin or higher. I prefer around 6,500 Kelvin for a good grow light. They don't always have grow lights in here. I'm sure if we looked around, we might be able to find something close. But the Kelvin on this bulb, we can see here, has soft white. So a soft white is gonna be somewhere along kind of the 4,500 Kelvin. It's not quite a blue light. The spectrum, I'll have Ashlyn throw up a picture of the Kelvin scale. And a soft white falls more in like the daylight spectrum, so there's gonna be some yellow still in there, rather than blue, which actually helps plants photosynthesize. So not quite the right color that I'd be looking for, but on top of all of that, direction matters. So when you put this light into an outlet, the light is gonna be going downward and out. It's gonna be spread all around, meaning it's gonna have pretty weak directional coverage. So if you're a plant, your plant is like a solar panel, and that light needs to hit that solar panel directly. So it's best to have something that's gonna be beaming most of that light straight down onto your plant, rather than spreading that light all around where it's kind of bleeding out into the other parts of the room where you don't have plants. Really cool light, but probably won't grow plants. Let's go. All right, so now we're doing one better. This is an LED. Now the LED, this light is $13, and we're actually talking about a dimmable spectrum light. So you can actually go as low as 2,700 Kelvin. So it's gonna have, as you can see here, it's got quite a lot of yellow and orange to it, all the way up to 6,500 Kelvin, which is what we're being hit with right now. So they cycle these lights off and on to kind of demonstrate what you can do, but it's wonderful because this light here has capabilities to go in different directions. Now you can just, by all means, get a non-dimmable, just plain old LED grow light, and it's gonna do fine. The only downside with these are the amount of lumens they give off. So you're hitting the right Kelvin, you're having a long life expectancy, but the amount of lumens that these are gonna give off is gonna be much less lumens than a compact fluorescent. And that's because these LEDs stand for light emitting diode. And there's probably only 4 to 5 light emitting diodes in this bulb right here. Just not enough room to pack them all in. So as suspected, we actually found the light here, and it only gives off 800 lumens. So it's half the amount of growable energy being given off than the compact fluorescent. Though you can get to that 6,500 Kelvin, it's just not giving you those lumens, which is important. If the color's right, but the lumens are off, still doesn't matter. It's about getting the kind of the Goldilocks of both of those. You want right lumens and right Kelvin to have success growing plants indoors. So we're gonna keep looking because I think we can do a little bit better. All right, so because again, we're kind of working with what's at the hardware store, we then go to the next best option, which are the T8 bulbs. T5, T8 are both gonna be kind of in that same category. So these are very inexpensive. They're longer, so you're gonna need like a shop light, right? These come in sections of usually like 2 foot or 4 foot sections for shop lights. And the great thing about these is that they're gonna be in a shop light unit. So the unit itself can be hung from different places, can be suspended, and it usually has a reflector which points most of that light down, which reduces that bleeding that we talked about, that wasted light. Now the great thing is each one of these lights puts out an output of 2,600 lumens, and they have a Kelvin of right around 5,000. So these are awesome. This whole pack of lights here is 50 bucks. on top of the unit itself, which might cost about 20 bucks, you're still looking at like right around $60 for a really good setup, in my opinion. The other thing I was going to mention too, I know you guys ask this all the time, lumens. If you don't have enough lumens, what do you do? Well, you can do one of two things. You can buy either a more powerful unit with more lumens, or you can actually double up your units. So if we had 2 units, you'd take 2,600 times 2, which is 6,200, or sorry, 5,200. So you're gonna have 5,200 lumens. If you tripled it, getting into math zone here, if you tripled it, you're looking at 7,400, I think. Yes, 7,400 lumens. And so you're actually able to add lumens, but you can't add Kelvin. That's not gonna have a addition like that, right? So you just add more lights or get a more powerful fixture. Just down here we have one better, and that is, in my opinion, the LED. Now the LED has less lumens, slightly less lumens, but a much longer shelf life. So the life of these bulbs is around 50,000 hours. Still looking at 2,000 lumens, so slightly less, but you're still at that 5,000 Kelvin threshold, which is great. You're gonna be putting in, obviously also a tad bit more expensive. We're talking like 20 bucks for 2 lights, $10 a light, but you're getting basically in a 2 bulb, 4-foot shop light, you're getting about 4,000 lumens, which is awesome. That's a lot of light to be growing plants. One final thing to note is if you can't get more lumens out of your fixtures, what you can do is move the light closer, right? Because imagine light getting dispersed and wasted. All of that light is gonna get concentrated down the closer you get to the plants. So what's really nice about these is because they don't run hot, you can get them a lot closer and you don't risk burning plants. With compact fluorescents, you wanna stay about 6 to 7 inches away because they get really hot. All right, so now we're getting into kind of the desirable spectrum of lights that I would recommend for most people. And as we start to get better, you start to get into some different perks. Yes, they do get a little more expensive, but you actually have these lines here, which are relatively new because of technology getting so much better. You actually have these portable lights. Now, I love these portable lights because a lot of them are rechargeable, or you can just plug them in, but you can put them on stands. So if you have like a plant, or if you have like a grow light station, like these ones here, yes, they're about $120, but they have 2 lights that can swivel, so you can actually directionally change where that light is going. And because it's LEDs, they have a much sharper beam angle. The beam angle is basically it's basically the angle of the light coming out. CFLs, compact fluorescents, have a very wide beam angle. Basically, light goes everywhere. Whereas LEDs are a lot more direct. So they're already gonna have a kind of a built-in advantage. And then once you put a reflector on top of that, or can swivel them and move them, you're getting even closer. Now the thing you have to be really careful of is if you're going with these, you have to look at the lumens. Not all of these lights here are going to be very effective, and you might just be wasting a ton of money because a lot of these lights are very potent for the amount of size that they take up. But we're talking 2,000 lumens, but a max Kelvin of 4,000 Kelvin, which is wah. So you want to go with some lights here, like this one here, 12,000 lumens, but 4,000 Kelvin. You just have to look around. Some can get up to that 5,000 threshold. They do make them. You just got to look for them. But these are awesome because you're talking 70 bucks for 12,000 lumens. Again, lumens isn't everything, because if you could have 40,000 lumens and like a very warm light and not very like blue, doesn't mean anything. So let's do one better, because I think we can do one better. All right, so now we're doing one better. These are gonna have to take either you knowing how to hardwire in or an electrician, but if you're having like a grow room and you don't want any type of setup, I think this is a route that I would love to go in the future by just wiring a boatload of these suckers in. These are round panels. They're downlighting for ceilings. And here's what you can do. You can actually put these dimmable lights in because they're actually adjustable. So if you come in close here, you'll notice you can go to 3,000 Kelvin all the way up to your amazing 6,500 Kelvin. It is really, really hard at a hardware store that doesn't specialize in grow lights to just get something that's going to be Growlight specific. This is a Growlight. By all intents and purposes, 6500 Kelvin is going to get you amazing, amazing Growlight capabilities for 21 bucks. Now, the only downside, and I mean the only downside to this, you're going to have to look around, obviously, at your hardware store, 800 lumens. That's a bit of a letdown, because at that point, you might as well go with a 1600 half-priced compact fluorescent and just kind of do the same thing with like a screw-in fixture, right? So I think we can do even better yet. Now we're getting somewhere. This is a color-changing flat panel. This sucker's 1 foot by 2 feet. So you're talking 2 square feet of growable space. Imagine this sucker being installed in like a ceiling. You have a lot of them, and you could really pump out the light. Yes, you're definitely talking very high cost because of installation, but because it gives you color-changing capabilities, you can change it to that Growlight like we just talked about. And we're talking 2,000 lumens. So now you're getting somewhere. You add probably 4 or 5 of these, and they're only 50 bucks. With a life expectancy of 50,000 hours, you add 5 of these together, you're talking 10,000 lumens. And you're in Growlight territory with some great light coverage because it takes up so much space. That's awesome. But I think we can do one better. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, why not use strip lights? This is basically a consolidated version, modular, for all these other lights we're talking about. Do not use these. The reason why is these lights are very, very inefficient. These are LEDs. They're going to be light-emitting diodes, but they're so far apart, and they take a lot of setup to get them established that you're spending $33 on something that might only give you about 400 to 500 lumens. Really, really inefficient. So now we're into what I would consider to be the best option at the entire hardware store for something that you could have as a grow light. And that is going to be these right here. They come in 4 and 2 foot sections. They are known as a high bay light. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to hang them. It requires very little, there's very little barrier to entry. Installation is literally, as you can see, hooking up. They have those little carabiners. Those hook up to either a chain or some rope or whatever. You can literally hang them from anywhere. So any type of S hook makes them very portable. And the fact that these are bright. So these give you 5,000 kelvins. Not as high on the Kelvin scale, but we're talking a boatload of lumens, you guys. For $100, you're able to get 12,000, 15,000, or at high capacity, which is the daylight 5,000 Kelvin, 18,000 lumens for $100. That is absolutely insane. This is going to grow some amazing seedlings all the way through winter. You could probably even borderline get stuff to full fruiting stage. Not quite sure because I've not quite tried it with this specific light, but anything with that many lumens and that much Kelvin is going to get you really super close. If you're growing things like leafy greens, definitely you could do that. And as you can see, there's so many different options. We'll pan here. This is the example I just pulled right here. That's the $100 one. But they make other ones as well. Like they make these ones that are adjustable, so you can swivel them. Super cool. Gives you extra, extra flexibility. Also, there's this one here. Check this one. Now the lumens, you want to check the lumens, but this light right here is so, I can't even grab it. This light right here is basically like a giant spotlight for your plants. So if you have like a fruit tree in your house, like a fig tree you're wanting to grow all winter long, you hang that sucker up, it's like you're you're a UFO sucking the plant. Like that's what it's gonna look like. So you can get so much capabilities to grow your plants right from the hardware store. You don't need to go to a grow shop. You don't need to go online and spend a ton of money. And I really want to say this too, if you're intimidated by grow lights, you don't have to be. There's a lot of people online, they're going to tell you, you need the lux, you need the lumens, you need the Kelvin, you need the this, that, and everything else. You do not. There's small nuances between all your lights, but the big thing are the lumens and the Kelvin. At that point, wattages don't really matter because that's how much energy the light actually takes, not how much light energy is given off. You can have a very inefficient light like an incandescent, use a ton of wattage, but give off very little lumens because a lot of it's wasted through heat. Whereas LEDs, very little is wasted through heat, so you need lower wattage, way more transferred light output. Huge difference once you actually start getting into LEDs and compact fluorescents, and you don't need to know a ton to grow a lot of plants indoors. So I hope this helped. I also want to thank the Home Depot for not kicking us out, but you guys can find these lights at almost any hardware store, I guarantee you. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and also make sure to let me know down in the comments box down below if this video helped in some way.